It was my second year of college. Spring break was coming, and everyone was going to South Padre Island. I wanted to go too, desperately. But every bus ticket was sold out. Every single one. I felt stuck.
Trapped.
Then, almost like fate, for frat guys offered me a ride. There was one empty seat in their truck. I didn't really know them, hardly even knew their names. But I had no choice. So I said yes. The second I climbed inside, I felt it. Something was wrong. The air inside the truck was heavy with smoke, hot enough to choke. Three of the guys laughed loudly, carelessly, like nothing was wrong. But the driver, he was different. They called him Drugs. And now I understand why. He was completely stoned. One hand on the wheel, the other holding a cigarette. Music blasted so loud the doors shook like they might break. Brain prediction 1. What do you think will happen on this ride? A. They drop her off safely. B. They try to steal from her. C. Something far worse happens on the road. Comment, please. I sat in the back seat, holding my bag, so tight my knuckles turned white. The smell of smoke and alcohol burned my throat with every breath. And mile after mile, the truth hit me. This wasn't a fun road trip. This was a moving cage. And I was trapped inside, with strangers, and a driver too high to keep us alive. Hours dragged by until finally, we reached South Padre. The truck screeched to a stop, bass still rattling through the doors. I shoved $100 into his hand, grabbed my bag, and got out without looking back. The night air hit me like freedom, cool, salty, alive. And then I saw him, my boyfriend, waiting outside the hotel. I smiled back and said, "I'm so glad you're here." The moment our eyes met, my whole body relaxed. The smoke, the noise, the chaos of that truck, all of it vanished. For the first time that day, I felt safe. Or, at least, I thought I was. He smiled and reached for my bag.
Finally, he said.
"Give it to me. I'll carry it in." I smiled back and said, "I'm so glad you're here." He carried my bag inside like it was nothing, just a small, thoughtful gesture. But what I didn't realize was this. The second his hand touched that bag, everything started to change. Brain prediction 2. Why do you think the bag moment is important? A. Something dangerous was put in it. B. Someone will steal from it. C. The bag will reveal a big secret later. Please comment your answer. Everything changed in that moment. It wasn't kindness. It was the first domino. And soon, the whole chain would collapse. That night, I opened my purse and froze. My stomach dropped. The cash, $300, was gone. I tore through every pocket, every zipper, every hidden corner. Receipts, lip gloss, scraps of paper scattered across the bed. But the money? Nowhere. Brain prediction 3. Who do you think actually took the money? A. The driver. B. One of the frat guys. C. Someone closer to her than she thinks. Share your thoughts. With every passing second, my breathing grew shallower. This wasn't just missing money, it felt like someone had reached inside my life and stolen my safety.
No, no.
Where is it? Where the hell is it? All my cash is gone. My boyfriend froze, his eyes wide. His voice caught, and it sent a chill down my spine. Weight gone? All of it. I could feel the panic rise in him, and somehow that made mine even worse. "You had 300, right?" I couldn't breathe. Panic clawed at my chest. My words came out broken, with shaky breaths and trembling hands.
Yes.
Every single dollar. It's just gone. He pulled me into his arms, and for a moment, the world felt steadier. His voice was calm, almost too calm, as he whispered,
Hey, hey.
"Look at me. Stop shaking. It's just money." I wanted to believe him. I wanted my fear to fade. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. "We'll figure it out," he said. And then his brother spoke. He hadn't said a word until now, but his voice cut through the room like a blade. "That driver.
Drugs.
Who else could it be? He was high the entire ride. Of course he stole it." His words hit me like a verdict. Final. Absolute. And in that moment, I stopped questioning. Of course, it had to be him. Who else could it be? Brain prediction 4. Why did the brother instantly blame drugs? A. Because it was obvious. B. Because it was the perfect scapegoat. C. Because he was hiding something. Comment below. A week later, we went to a bar. The music was deafening, bass pounding so hard it rattled the glasses. Lights flashed across the room in sharp, violent bursts. People shouted, laughed, and spilled drinks. For a moment, I almost let myself sink into it. Almost forgot. But then, I saw it. Through the haze, out the window, parked in the shadows of the lot. That truck. His truck.
Drugs.
My blood turned to ice. The glass slipped in my hand, beer spilling down my wrist. Every sound in the bar faded into a dull, suffocating hum. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't look away. "That's it," I whispered. "That's his truck." My boyfriend leaned close, his presence pressing against me, his voice low. "You're sure?" The weight of his question sank into my chest. I couldn't tell if I was shaking from fear or from the way he watched me so intensely. "Yes," I said. I'd never forget it. Slowly, my boyfriend turned to his brother. Their eyes locked. And in that silence, something passed between them. Something I wasn't meant to understand. Then, almost in sync, they both stood up and walked out.
Just like that.
Brain prediction 5. What do you think they just did? A. Warned the driver. B. Fought with him. C. Planned something. I sat there, frozen. My heart pounded against my ribs like it wanted to escape. Every second dragged by like an eternity. The music still blasted,
People still laughed.
but none of it reached me. All I could hear was the pounding in my chest and the echo of the door they had just walked through. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. I gripped the edge of the table so hard my hands went numb. My mind raced with questions. What were they doing? What were they planning? What had I just set in motion? And then they came back.
Calm. Too calm.
Their faces blank, their movements steady. Like nothing had happened. Like they hadn't just stepped outside to do something. The pit in my stomach grew heavy, crushing. I forced out the words, barely a whisper. "What did you do?" He met my eyes, his gaze steady. His voice flat, controlled, almost cold. "Don't worry about it." I wanted to believe him, but the calmness in his tone only made my fear sharper. And the way he said it, that stillness in his voice, I knew then whatever happened in that parking lot was something I could never take back. 2 days later, the news spread fast. His truck wasn't just broken, it was destroyed.
The engine gone.
The fuel pump and the lines were ruined. This wasn't bad luck. It wasn't worn and torn. It was a death sentence. Damage no mechanic could ever fix. He leaned in close, pride flickering in his voice. We poured sand into the tank. That truck's never moving again. I felt it then, the cold edge of satisfaction in him. And part of me froze, both awed and terrified. by what he was capable of. I should have been horrified. I should have felt sick. But instead, I felt calm, almost relieved. He took my money. Now he had lost his truck. Balance restored. Or at least, that's what I thought. His truck was gone. Justice or something like it felt served. Brain prediction 6. Do you think this was the end? A. Yes, justice was served. B. No, a darker truth is coming. For a moment, I let myself believe it was over. But deep down, I felt something else. A tremor. Something darker. Like the story wasn't ending. It was only the beginning. And the bag I thought was mine, was about to show me just how wrong I was. Months later, on a quiet night, I was doing laundry, folding shirts, emptying pockets. Just another ordinary chore. Then I felt it. Something crumpled, buried deep in the pocket of his jacket. I pulled it out, smoothed the wrinkles, and froze. A bank receipt. On the same night, my money vanished. Deposit, $300. My hands shook so badly that I almost dropped it. The walls seemed to close in. The air pressed hard against my chest. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't bad luck. It wasn't some stone driver. It wasn't even about the truck. It was something else. Something closer. Something I didn't want to believe. Brain prediction 7. Why do you think he took the money? A. To spend on himself. B. To gamble or party. C. For a reason that might break your heart. Please comment your answer. My voice shook. My eyes felt too wide for my face. What is this? I whispered, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. He snatched the paper from my hand. His voice was sharp, defensive. It's nothing. Drop it. The shock burned in my chest. My fingers still tingled where the receipt had been. But I couldn't let it go. Not this time. My heart raced. My throat tightened. My mind spun. And then everything clicked. His calmness that night. His shrug. That perfect little line. Don't worry about it. It wasn't the driver. It wasn't some stranger. It was him. The person I trusted most. The person I loved. He was the one who stole from me.
But why?
Why would he do it? Was it greed? Just to blow the money on a party? Or a high? Or was it something else? Something raw, painful, something that, if I knew the truth, might break my heart too. At first, I thought it was simple, ugly.
Greed.
But the receipt told another story. That money didn't go to drugs. It went to a hospital, and on that slip of paper was her name, his sister's name. Brain prediction 8. Why did he send all the money to the hospital? A. Was it guilt? B. A secret he couldn't tell me? C. Or was it something far more personal, something that could change everything I thought I knew about him? After that night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, one thought kept eating at me. Why didn't he just tell me? Losing the money hurt, but the lies, those cut even deeper. I needed answers. Months later, I went to the place where my money had gone, the hospital. The air smelled sharp with disinfectant. The lights were too bright, too honest. Every step echoed in the empty halls until I found her room. She looked fragile, swallowed by the white sheets. Her arms were covered with IVs, thin scars running along her skin. But when she lifted her head, her eyes were alive. Haunted, but alive. For a moment, she didn't understand why I was there. Not until I whispered his name, her brother's name. That's when the tears came. He doesn't tell people, she said softly, her voice breaking. He doesn't want anyone to know. Her words cracked something open inside me. Brain prediction 9. Why would he hide the truth from everyone, even the people who loved him most? A. Whatever it is. B. It's personal, it's painful. C. It could change everything. Comment P's. He doesn't tell people, she said again, voice trembling. He doesn't want anyone to know. I stood frozen, my throat tight. Know what? I whispered. Her lips trembled. Her eyes shimmered. And then the truth slipped out. The treatments. The bills. The doctors said it was my last chance. And he. Her breath caught, breaking on the edge of a sob. He gave up everything for me. The room blurred. My heart pounded. $300. My $300. Not stolen for a high. Not wasted on a party. It had bought her another day. Another chance. And in that instant, everything twisted inside me. Love, betrayal, guilt, grief. He hadn't just lied. He had carried a burden so heavy, he chose to hide it even from me. I thought I had been the victim, but staring at her fragile smile through the tears, I realized I had only seen half the story. Brain prediction 10. What do you think I'll discover when I confront him? A. He admits everything. B. He lies to cover it up. C. He turns the blame on me. Share your thoughts. I came home and set the receipt on the table. No dramatic entrance. No shouting. Just the paper. And my shaking hands. He sat across from me, half asleep, eyes dull. With exhaustion. I dropped it in front of him. He stared. He didn't flinch. No excuses. No denial. Just silence. Finally, his voice came. Thin. Fragile. Cracked. You think I stole because I was selfish? Because I wanted it for myself? His throat caught. No. I stole because I had no choice. That money wasn't for me. It was for her. For my sister. I whispered back the things she had told me in that hospital room. The crash, the scars, the pills, the nights she begged for peace. And when I said it, his eyes closed. When he opened his eyes again, something darker poured out. But she didn't tell you everything, did she? His fists clenched so hard the skin on his knuckles turned white. She's in that hospital because of him. That driver. The high one. The night he swerved into her lane, he didn't just hit her car. He destroyed her. Broke her bones. Broke her mind. He left her breathing, but he stole her life. My mouth went dry. The air grew heavy, pressing down on my chest. His voice dropped lower, raw grief twisted with rage. All those pills, all that pain, it started with him. You wonder why I blamed him so quickly? Because I've blamed him for years. To everyone else, he's a burnout, a joke. But to me, he's the man who ruined my sister's life. He leaned in, his eyes burning. You think stealing from you is easy? You think lying to you didn't kill me? I worked 2 jobs. I begged. I lied. I did things I'm ashamed of. And when it wasn't enough, I took your money because I couldn't let her go without medicine, without treatment, without hope. His voice cracked, but the fire in him didn't fade. So yes, I stole. I betrayed you. But not for me. For her. Always for her. And in that moment, staring at him across the table, I realized something terrifying. He wasn't asking for forgiveness. He was daring me to judge him. Tears blurred my vision, but he kept going. You think pouring sand into his truck was about money? His voice shook. No. I wanted him to feel helpless. I wanted him to lose something he loved, the way he took everything from her. You call it karma. I call it justice. There was no clean ending. Only scars. Days later, whispers spread. People said Drugs was found beaten on the side of the road. Truck gone. Body broken. Everyone called it karma. But I knew better. It wasn't random. It was him. Sometimes I imagine the sand sliding into that tank, slow and deliberate, choking the machine that once carried the man who ruined her. Sometimes I see Drugs staring at the ruins of his life, wondering who had taken it from him. And sometimes I see her, his sister, waking up, her pain just a little lighter because of what he did. Love doesn't always heal. Sometimes it haunts. Once it breaks, it never comes back the same. I thought I lost $300, but what I really lost was the version of him I thought I knew. Now I sit with questions instead of answers. Brain Prediction 11. Final choice for the narrator, me. A. Forgive him for saving her life. B. Leave him for betraying me. C. Stay, but never trust him again.